Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Tranquil Waters by Stevie. Happy Friday. What a week it has been. Post-Christmas week, I guess you could say, or still that holiday week where we're getting through Christmas and then into the new year. Hard to believe it's going to be 2024 already. Holy cow. Crazy town. You know, and I was thinking about, I started the channel in 22. So this year's gonna mark, I think, around June, July. I'm gonna have to look and see. I think it's sometime around June or July though. We're gonna be 2 years into this thing. That seems crazy to me. I don't know. I wasn't even sure I was gonna do YouTube stuff, but then I certainly wasn't even sure if I'd be doing it this long. But you know what? 2 years, still a pup in the YouTube world, right? Compared to some other streamers and video producers that have been out there for a lot longer than I have. We're still having fun watching Gwen do some spraying, rolling over our crops. She doesn't care. Our carrots. To her, it's just getting the job done. You go, girl. You go, Gwen. So yeah, you know, I promise starting next week, I think Tuesday, we will be back on schedule. Monday is a bit iffy at the moment. I'm not sure if I'm going to have something for you Monday. But we'll be back on track Tuesday. I have been looking into what's coming up here for the channel. I've been thinking, giving it some thought this week. And haven't really decided yet. You know, Traveling Contractor Tuesday, I know we'll probably do a couple, 2, 3 more of those. I have an idea for a new Thursday, thing. I want to keep it on Thursdays. That seems to be a good time to kind of take a break from our normal Let's Play. But I've got a couple ideas for, did I say carrots? These are parsnips, aren't they? I just thought of that. Yeah, these are parsnips, I think. So yeah, I do have a couple other ideas for Thursday that I think we might jump into here in a bit. Of course, Tranquil Waters, we're sitting, on episode, was this 86? So I think what we're going to do for Tranquil Waters at this point is I think we're done with our planting, and I think what we're going to do is just deal with any harvesting that we have to do, and then we're going to call it. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to buy the rest of the fields that are on the map. I think we could go sell some compost right now and probably take care of that action. But I don't think we're going to be doing any replanting. I think we've got a lot of harvesting that we need to do. And then we're probably going to call it quits on Tranquil Waters and move on to the next map, which I think we... Is it Gen X Stoner? I think that's... I apologize if I got that wrong, but laid out a very detailed plan. Some may even say methodical plan of how to make my life miserable when it comes to Farming Simulator. It's impressive how much was laid out for me there. And I have taken notes. In fact, I am already detailing the pain that will be coming my way. Thanks, Gen X Stoner. I appreciate your time and effort. Your words did not go unnoticed, and I think we're gonna have some fun the next one. It's not gonna be. I'm thinking about just all of the. It's like everything. I basically am taking everything that I pretty much like to do when it comes to Farming Simulator, all the little mods and extras and game, what do you call? I don't even know what to call them. Like game enhancements, and do the opposite of what I normally would do. It reminds me of that Seinfeld episode where George and Elaine. George was the opposite guy. He literally, every decision he's ever made in his life has been wrong. So he decided to do the opposite of everything he thinks he should do. And it worked out great for him. So, you know, maybe there's something to be said about that. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little bit... I have my concerns. I have my trepidations. But it should make for some interesting content. If nothing else, you may see the final the final episodes of my YouTubing career. It shouldn't be that bad. I was nervous about Hinterland, and I got to tell you, I love that map, and I like that Let's Play. We had a lot of fun in that Let's Play. I really enjoyed all that stuff we did on that Let's Play. So who knows? Maybe this one will work out as well, and I'll just decide that, you know what, who needs all these extra mods and game additions when you can just raw dog it all the way through and just be on your own. Goodness gracious. All right, well, we have some things to do besides just listening to me yap. Actually, we don't have much to do other than a cultivating contract that I took out on the same field that we did our foraging. I think it wasn't it? A foraging contract we did. Oh, I know what the problem is. Okay, so you got to hold. I've been playing way too much Power Washer Simulator. That game is so horribly addicting. But in Power Washer Simulator, a right mouse click will keep the sprayer on. But yeah, it's not working here. I'm just so used to clicking on the right button to kind of lock the sprayer. In fact, you see this old school sprayer that we're kind of using here right now? This is like old school. This is what I always used to use when I was a kid and growing up and stuff like that. They also had like a locking, at least the ones I'm used to, had a little locking ring built into the handle, almost like a gas station kind of a handle thing in a way. And you could lock these puppies down so they would just spray and spray and spray. That would be a nice addition to the old mod, wouldn't it? All right, let's just check repair. I haven't checked repairs, I don't think, on the... Oh, it needs a paint job, doesn't it? We're not going to do that, though. We're naughty. We are going to repair it, though. And we'll repair our tank. We're not going to spend... How much? Wait. 60... Oh, we'll round it to 65,000. And another 16, so 75... $81,000 in paint. $81,000 in paint. I don't think so. All right. This guy here, though. This is what I wanted to get out. Get it breathing. Break it in a little bit. Actually, it's used, so it's probably broken in already. But this is the... but our cultivator that we have here is not been used yet, so we're going to break it in. If you remember, we picked up... Santa brought us this new Case IH cultivator. Nice. And of course our brand new Challenger articulating tractor, 660 horsepower. Should be enough to pull this. Should be enough to pull this, I hope. We'll find out, won't we? Let's drop it down and let's get to business. I don't mind articulating tractors, usually because you're getting the horsepower from them. I don't find them as nice to drive. It takes maybe if I drove them more often, I'd be a little more used to them. Getting that hiney, their little butt end back here likes to do a little wiggling sometimes. Kind of throws me off, but that's not a bad looking setup right there. It's not a bad looking setup at all. I should throw GPS on there. I should take advantage of the fact that we have GPS while I can. That is going to be one thing that is not going to be so readily available to me on our next challenge. Let's talk about the next challenge a little bit, since I have discussed it already a little bit and we're getting close. If you want to go out to the Discord server and look at what Gen X Stoner wrote for the next challenge for me, laid it out. I'd say laid it out pretty good. With there's going to be a couple modifications to it, but for the main parts, no doubt, are going to be very, very similar to what Gen X Stoner put on there. It's going to be, it's going to be pretty much hard economy. That's kind of a gimme. Things that I don't like, field stones are going to be enabled. Now, I pretty much played with field stones, I think, for the first time. Maybe I kept them for Elm Creek. I forget if I disabled them after a while or not, but excuse me, I've never played with field stones since then. But they'll be enabled. Now, my understanding is, and I don't really remember much about field stones. I think you can. Do they just damage your equipment more? Is that what the idea behind it is? I forget what it's all about. There's small and there's large, correct? So there's like two different size field stones, and I don't know. Do the small ones matter? I don't even remember. I'll have to look at that again. But if we damage our equipment with field stones, we damage our equipment. So be it, you know. Crop destruction. I normally avoid that like the plague. That will be enabled. So, lovely. I think between hard economy, crop destruction, and field stones, that might be enough to normally break me. But there's going to be other simple things like no GPS on contract vehicles. Like right now, I can take advantage of GPS with borrowed equipment with contracts. That's not going to be available. I wanted to use this new mod that came out. I thought, man, that mod is perfect for what I'm planning. And it was like the oh boy, I forget what it's called now, but it's basically, it makes you, instead of being able to easily teleport, right now, you know, if you go to the map and you can teleport to any production facility, to the store, things like that, places that are marked on the map, you can teleport. And with, you know, some additional mods like this easy development controls, I can teleport. Plus I can teleport equipment, the whole 9 yards if I wanted to. But no teleporting. What I really wanted to do was a mod came out that and I apologize, I forget the name of it, but the intention of it is it treats it like you're taking a cab, like a taxi, an Uber, maybe a Lyft. So if you want to teleport, somewhere, you're welcome to. But one, it's going to cost you, and two, it's going to take some time. It's not instant, and quite frankly, it's not cheap. And I really like the idea of the mod. I actually really do like the idea of the mod. And I'm hoping that the mod author develops it a little bit more. In particular, I'm kind of hoping that they develop it to the point where you can make some adjustments to it. I did make a couple adjustments to it in the Lua file. For one thing, the cost of the taxi was, well, it was really, really expensive. I'm just watching this cultivator doing some flexing. It's pretty cool. If you're familiar with Elm Creek, so to go from the farm on Elm Creek, your starting farm, and to go to the store on Elm Creek, okay, is almost $700, which that's a pretty expensive cab ride. And I get it, you know, it's a game and so on and so forth. And I don't necessarily need it to be accurate. Like, I don't need him to go out and see what see what the current cost on cab fares are. But that's a little bit too expensive for my taste. So that can be adjusted easily enough in the Lua file. I played around with that. But what can't be adjusted, that's really not going to be any fun for us, is the time that it takes to do that. It's like a minute of wait time, which just wouldn't make for very fun videos of constantly having to wait a minute here and there. Plus, when you can't just tab to vehicles, you can either walk to a vehicle, or you can, of course, take a cab to a vehicle, which, again, not a problem. But I did some testing, and I basically parked a couple of tractors, let's say from where we are right now. I parked a tractor, we'll say, from here to just on the right there on the edge of the field over there. I mean, not even a quarter mile, an eighth, a tenth of a mile, something like that. Pretty close together, in other words. And what I was finding was, occasionally, I think it would calculate a path. Like, it couldn't calculate as the crow flies, so to speak. It almost like it was using traffic splines. And if you lined it up in a particular way, if you went from one tractor to another, and they just happened to be in the right places, it could take 4 minutes, 4 minutes to go from one tractor to another. And those were within, I would say, visible range of each other. And I think I understand why it's doing that, because it's, again, I think it's calculating the route with traffic splines, I'm guessing, or AI driving splines, whatever they call them. That's my only other guess on that. But unfortunately, not a mod that I was really hoping to take advantage of, but not going to happen. So there's going to be some things, like we are going to be able to tab between vehicles, just because it is what it is. However, I did want to figure something out that might make my life a little bit more horrible, as far as, like, let's say, there is a mod. Actually, there's a second mod I want to tell you about. But let's say that because we're going to be doing contracts up front. That's just going to be the only way we're going to make cash. But let's say we have two vehicles for a contract. Let's say we have a tractor with a trailer, and we've got a combine. How are we going to get those two things over to the field? Now, a lot of times I would use the stored deliveries mod and just have them automatically delivered to the field where the contract is at. And I was thinking, well, that's kind of easy. So maybe I'm going to have to start picking things up at the store. But then we can use the Follow Me mod, I guess, to deliver multiple vehicles. I have to find a good balance of what's going to make my life miserable and what is still going to be achievable as far as a video goes. And I would do more editing and so on and so forth, but unfortunately, just, I have a life outside of Farming Simulator that I have to maintain as far as work and stuff goes, and I don't have all that time to do as much video editing as I would like to do, actually. But so there's going to be some things that are just going to be what they are, and we'll figure it out as we go. I think there's going to be enough stuff that I hate that is going to irritate me enough to get the point across. And of course, money is going to be difficult to come by. Another mod came out. I think it came out recently. Was the it's a helper. Oh no, you know what? Actually, I think it's been out for a while. Excuse me. Sorry. It's the advanced helper config or something like that. And I think we might throw that in the mix. What it does is it does a few things. One, it allows you to adjust the amount of available helpers in the game. So I think the game allows for 6 by default. Ooh, that bird almost hit us. I think the game allows for 6 helpers, and you can adjust that with this mod. You can also adjust helper pay. That was kind of the one thing I was looking for, because I know I'm going to want to use helpers. I know I'm going to want to use Courseplay, but I also want it to be painful, more painful than it is now. So I think if I use Courseplay and helpers, I can jack up their salaries quite a bit and really make it not as comfortable to just say, hey, let's hire Betty Lou to go out there and plow this field when it's going to cost 3 times more than normal. And I know in Courseplay you can also adjust helper salary as well, which is kind of cool. It's not super flexible, but it is somewhat flexible. At least enough to make it a little bit more painful than normal. I actually quite like this little setup for doing cultivating. I'd take this. I'm liking the old Challenger. I saw an old tracked Challenger on a YouTube channel I was watching. This guy, I think it's Western Machinery and Repair or something like that. He's kind of an interesting dude to watch. I quite like him. He reminds me of a couple buddies I knew back in college. He was working on an old tracked Challenger. He had to fully remove the track. I think he was replacing, I don't even know what they're called, guide wheels or something like that. The smaller wheels that are there that kind of add some tension, and I think they even help with a little bit of suspension and things like that. But it's kind of funny to listen to him, because he's one of these dudes that kind of just tells it like it is. I don't think he really I don't think he really subscribes to the most politically correct conversation in the world. And kind of tells it like he sees it, especially when it comes to some of the equipment that he has to repair. Um, if he sees that the equipment has clearly been abused, he'll basically definitely let you know. And it's kind of funny. I'm thinking about the fact that, you know, if he's always so busy. Oh my gosh, the guy must work 80 hours a week. I mean, he is constantly working, and he's on his own, I think. I don't think he has any helpers or anything. And I just, you know, the amount of work that he puts in is crazy. But he's the kind of person I would take my stuff to get fixed. Because, you know, it's going to be done right. It's going to be the right price. He's not going to fix stuff that doesn't need fixing. And if he doesn't get it fixed right, he'll be accountable to it. You know? There's a word you don't hear often enough these days, right? Accountability. Wow. Don't even get me started on that one. Too much time off this week. That's my problem. If I have too much time on my hands, boy. Good. Whoa. Let me grab some of my adult water beverage here. Some time to spend with my kids this week. Really enjoyed that. They are becoming cash-friendly Christmas kids. I think that's a good way to put it. Something I am still trying to get used to is Christmas cash. Just not exactly what I grew up with. I mean, I think we got cash from distant relatives, like, and by distant relatives, I mean like uncles or aunts. If we weren't going to see them at Christmas, and if they were getting us something, it would probably be cash. I remember my uncle one year, he gave us, we got these thin, skinny boxes. Each one of us kids got this, and it looked like a tie box. You know how a tie box looks? I don't know if anybody wears ties anymore, but used to be when you bought a tie as a gift, you know, I never did, but if you got a tie as a gift, it came in this thin tie box. And he and us kids got this. Man, I'm really having a hard time just trying to keep this bad boy straight. And he sent us he sent each one of us kids this box that looked like a tie box. And we opened it up, and it was a tie, but a tie made of cash. I'll never forget that. I thought that was like the coolest thing. I'm assuming the banks were offering that as a Christmas special where you could get a tie made of cash. I totally have I completely forget how much it was. They were probably, if I remember right, dollar bills, maybe $5 bills. It wasn't like an enormous amount of money. I mean, obviously for us kids, it was a decent chunk of change, but it was super cool to open up the box and see these this American currency that was all folded and even had a tie knot. Like it looked like it was tied on a shirt around the neck. So it had a tie knot on the top and just kind of came down like a normal tie. Had a little V on the bottom. That was a pretty cool gift. I wish I should ask the old siblings if they remember how much that was. $25 seems to come to mind. And this was back when 20 or $25 would have been, you know, a pretty decent chunk of change. He's the rich uncle. I don't know if every family has one. My family does. The rich uncle. Let's see if I can straighten this line out. I don't know if I'm making it worse or better. I think I'm just not helping at all. But you gotta love those rich uncles. Rich aunts or rich uncles. Especially the ones that you hope don't get along with their kids, so they're not in the will. That's so bad. That's so bad. Hey, I'm not too proud to say that I'll take given money. I'll take somebody else's hard worked for cash. Oh boy. So yeah, kids want cash, and I get it. I get it. You know, they want things that we never asked for. Well, I say we, but things that I never asked for when I was a kid, because those things weren't around. You know, you didn't buy skins for characters in games or game crates or all that stuff, or you just didn't. That wasn't there. And now that's what they want. They want stuff like that. To me, it's crazy because it's not tangible. I want something tangible, man. I bought myself 28 days. Is it 28 days later? Am I saying that right? 28 days later, that zombie movie with Cillian. The guy from Peaky Blinders, Cillian, can't remember his last name. He was Thomas Shelby. "28 weeks later," actually, it's a double feature DVD. So it's 28 days later and 28 weeks later. I actually kind of liked 28 weeks later as well. A lot of people didn't like it. I don't think it's definitely not as good as 28 days later, in my humble opinion. But 28 days later is one of the finest post-apocalyptic type zombie flicks, I think, out there. Besides, some of the classics are quite good, but I also quite like Shaun of the Dead. If you've never seen Shaun of the Dead, that is excellent. But 28 days later, we were looking to stream it this past week. And I found it on some nasty, you better have like not one ad blocker, but you better have like 6 ad blockers. I have a total of, I think, 6 or 7 ad blockers on my browser. And I sometimes have to wonder why it's slow. Actually, it's not that bad. But one ad blocker just never seems to do enough or do it all. So you got to have multiples. I've got like 4 ad block pros or something along those lines it's called. Of course, uBlock Origins, I think, was another one. Yeah, I've got several ad blockers. But anyways, we went to look for streaming this thing. And so I hopped on the old Apple TV and did a little search for it. And we couldn't find it. Like, literally, Apple TV doesn't even know it exists. Which I thought, okay, this is weird. It knew about 28 weeks later. And is there a third one now that I think about it? Is there a third one of that series? I can't remember if there is. It seems like there might be. Anyways, it knew about 28 weeks later, could not find 28 days later. I started getting freaked out. I'm like, what is this? This is insane. How can you not even know it exists? So then we got on the old Google Foo and started doing a lot of searching. And I mean, I started finding articles, or not articles, but posts on Reddit and things with people in the same situation. Where is 28 days later? Like, what happened to this movie? Or is it just being taken out of circulation and trying to be forgotten that it was ever made? It doesn't make any sense. Went onto IMDb, and it's still listed out there. Could not find it anywhere to stream. Absolutely could not find it. In fact, I couldn't find it anywhere to rent. That was the other thing that threw me off. So we were all just kind of like, what? Yeah, apparently we're not the only ones. I was actually tempted to get my old Roku out. I was going to get my old Roku out, plug that in, and see if it would have any better luck. But, I mean, I've got several options to either stream or rent movies, and none of them want anything to do with it. And the weird thing is that I do remember it was sometime this year. I think I watched it on Hulu, if I'm not mistaken. It was Hulu or Netflix. So I'm just like, this is crazy. I don't know what happened to it. I still don't know what happened to it. I don't know if it's like a little game that they play where they just take certain movies out of circulation to try to, you know, bump up DVD or Blu-ray. I mean, come on. Who's going to do that, right? I mean, come on. To bump up Blu-ray sales or DVD sales. But this movie is, what, 20 years old? I don't know. I'm guessing it's 20 years old. It's got to be, right? It's like it never existed. So I ended up going out to Amazon. Old trusty Amazon. Actually, I went out to eBay first. And was looking around on eBay, and there's some used copies out there. The Blu-ray goes for like 50, 60 bucks and on up. But you can find a used copy of the DVD on eBay for, I'd say, probably under 10, 10 or less. And I don't care if it's Blu-ray or DVD. First of all, I'm not that super picky. It's an older movie anyways. If it was, it's not like it's going to be anything special to have on Blu-ray necessarily. So I ended up going out on Amazon and finding a copy, and I ended up buying the copy that had the double feature. I think it's actually might have come in today, or it might be here tomorrow, but so I'm excited about watching that, of course. I like to make a personal backup of my movies. Always like to make sure I have a personal backup. It might come with an electronic code. I don't know if it comes with a digital code or not. It's kind of funny how big of a deal sometimes that's been made. People getting DVDs or Blu-rays and then ripping them for their own home theater use. I don't know. Is that still illegal? Is that still technically illegal if you own a DVD or Blu-ray and you rip it for your own personal storage? Is that still considered illegal? I don't even know. I'm guessing it's okay as long as you still own it. You don't turn around and sell, turn around and sell it. But it's kind of weird. It was just one of those oddities. We were watching, one of my kids is watching The Walking Dead. Never finished watching The Walking Dead, so he's kind of finishing up that series, and that's kind of what got us down this zombie road. Did a little bit of mod cleanup. I went through my mod folder and just started looking at things that, that I just either have never used or things that I had intentions of using and probably are not going to use. And I think I'm too far into it now at this point to make too big of a dent, though. I was halfway tempted to empty to just empty it and start over again, and just download mods as I as I wanted to use them for whatever map I'm on. But I thought, man, that's going to be a lot of work to deal with that. And there's mods in there that aren't on the in-game mod hub. So I'm going to have to find them. And then there's also mods, not too many, but there's a handful of them that were on the in-game mod hub, but then got yanked for whatever reason. But if you grab them fast enough, you know, you get them before they get yanked, you can keep them. But I also found in those situations, just about every time, if a mod got put on the in-game mod hub and then it got yanked before I could get it, and I actually wanted it, you could still, well, if you're a PC Mac player, this doesn't really work for console players, but if you're a PC Mac player, it's going to be out there on one of the other mod sites. You'll find it regardless of whether it got yanked or not. Those mod sites pick up these mods so fast. That's one thing I like about King Mods, is it actually will direct to the Giants in-game mod hub if that's where it is, you know, located. And I would say, from what I've seen, at least most of the time, if not, you know, as close to all the time as possible, it offers the legitimate download link. Whereas some of these other mod sites, even the in-game mod hub stuff that they link to is on their own server. So they're just going for download links and ad revenue and stuff. And this is bad news. And it's just greed. And it takes away from the mod author. So I just don't go to those. About ready to wrap up this contract. In fact, we might be probably not done. Let's take a quick peek. 98%. We're going to get this bad boy wrapped up. My throat is about done. But I would say we might hit 100 episodes with Tranquil Waters. Maybe even a little bit more with some of the harvesting contracts we have. Those potatoes and sugar beets. And of course we've got carrots, parsnips, red beets. Some of these are not going to be the fastest harvests in the world. But we're going to try and knock them out pretty decently. My plan is to probably have close to about 100 episodes on Tranquil Waters before we part ways onto our next adventure. If I come to my senses before then, we'll find a map that has really, really big fields with no obstructions. We start with 2 combines, all equipment. Minimal horsepower is 450 or 500. Cultivators, minimal size, this one right here. And just make life extremely easy on ourselves. If I don't come to my senses, then that's not what's going to happen. So we'll see about that one. And then Thursdays, like I said, we've got a few more traveling contractors to do. And then we're going to bump that series over to something new. I think you guys might enjoy. I'm looking forward to it myself. Got a couple ideas for that I think will be kind of fun. We might as well just wrap up this last strip here. We can call it a day. The birds agree. Oh, I don't think it's gonna... little strip. Oh, so close. So close. So yeah, that should wrap up our cultivating contract. And I think that also is going to wrap up June, I think, for the most part. I'll take a quick peek around before advancing, but I think our June is going to be We'll put a wrapper on June. And of course, I know our contract should be completed. It is indeedly doodly. And next month, there will probably be a sewing contract for this field, would be my guess. That's usually the way it works. I quite like this cultivator. I think that's going to make its way probably not into the next Let's Play. Oh, man. But that's a keeper. That'll be a good thing to keep in the mod folder. I'm not even sure. Do we even know where this one came from? Cultivator. Custom modding. Yeah, that's probably an in-game mod hub would be my guess from custom modding. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap it up for Friday for the week. If I get around to it, I will try and have something out to you this weekend or maybe Monday. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to have a Tranquil Waters video Monday, New Year's. But we will get back to the normal game plan starting Tuesday and so on and so forth. But thanks, everyone. I appreciate you stopping by. It's great to see you again. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. I'd sure appreciate that. And as always, you're welcome to join. You're welcome to check out our Discord. You're welcome to subscribe and so on and so forth. But most importantly, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I'll see you real soon. Bye for now.